Bungie has just issued a new rocket in Destiny 2. This rocket is going to arrive with Solstice, and it's going to be the first ever strand rocket in the game. However, after looking at its perk pool, it looks like it might very well be the worst rocket in the game, which is super unfortunate to see new stuff brought to the game to only be terrible, or at least potentially terrible. In today's video, we're going to go through and review all the different perk options that this thing can roll with in an effort to maybe see if there is a silver lining to this rocket. First thing we're talking about is its origin trait, which is Dream Work. Dream Work actually is a pretty good origin trait. We've seen this utilized well in the past. It reads once per reload, assist or assisted final blows, partially refill the weapon from reserves, potentially overflowing the magazine. So this could actually work really well with the rocket. You could potentially overflow the magazine by reloading it. Obviously, if you got assists or final blows on something like a champion, for example, if you're shooting the rocket at a champion, usually when you're shooting a rocket, you're shooting it at bosses, champions, not really red bar enemies or ads. So that's not really an ad clear weapon, your power weapon. You're going to clear ads with your power weapon, usually using something like a machine gun, but there is some potential here for Dream Work to synergize really well with some of the other perks. The only issue is that most of the other perks are really bad on rockets. Let's look at the right hand column here, which is the damage boosting column rather. We have cluster bombs, which is more of an ad clear perk, not something we really see on rockets for DPS or for efficient single target killing. And we have swashbuckler, again, not really something you see on rockets too much. You don't want to be running around having to get a melee kill while you have your rocket out. And we have chain reaction, chain explosions from the rocket rather, and I don't think this is going to be a very good perk. This is more of an ad clear perk. Then we have envious assassin, which has been an insanely good perk for rockets, easily an S tier perk. This will be really nice on this as well. It should allow for 3 in the magazine with this rocket. However, if you were to also simultaneously proc Dream Work, you might be able to get 4 in the magazine. So envious assassin is definitely a potentially good perk. However, the only problem is that it's in the damage boosting slot, and so we're basically trading envious assassin for a damage perk, which is usually not the best play. Then we have one for all, which you'd have to damage 3 enemies with the rocket. So you're going to shoot the rocket into like a pile of ads, and then you'd shoot it at the boss. Really not a good damage boosting perk on a rocket. And then we have Hatchling, which is the most surprising of all of these perks here. Who expected Hatchling on a rocket? That had better be one ginormous Hatchling for this to be good. There is some crazy potential that Hatchling is overtuned in some way for the rocket and actually does some crazy damage. If that is the case and we're all running around with a strand Hatchling rocket, I would be very surprised. However, I think it'll probably be bad as it is. It's not bad, it's just average on all other strand weapons. There's no weapon with Hatchling where I'm like, this is crazy, this goes hard. A fun perk more than anything. And then lastly, we have Adrenaline Junkie in the right-hand column, also not the best perk. In the left-hand column, we have Shot Swap, Final Blows, build and store charges, which allow you to swap and stow this weapon at a faster rate. We're definitely not using this. We have Pugilist, which is going to give us more melee energy, also not using that on a rocket. Then we have Demo, which has been really good on rockets in the past, especially during that Starfire Protocol meta. That was the best perk on a rocket. Demo Explosive Light, so strong, so much fun to use. However, since Starfire has been nerfed, don't really see demo rockets used as much. We have Field Prep, which is still a really good perk, probably one of the better perks in the left-hand column. Auto loading is probably the best perk though, because usually you want to shoot the rocket and then swap to something like your Izzy or a fusion rifle or whatever weapon rotations you're going through. Impulse Amplifier, we're not using that. And then the last perk is Ensemble, and we're also not going to be using that. As far as the magazine goes, of course, we're going to go with Impact Casing and then as much handling as we do with most rockets, but we first need to see what perk combinations are actually good on this weapon. Envious Assassin, so you're going to get 3 in the magazine, right? You're going to get 3 in the magazine, then you can blast those, then you can begin your weapon rotation. That's going to be like decent burst with Wolfpack rounds, and then you can auto load. That's not bad, but the problem is we have weapons, we have rockets that can do that. Full Comfort can get Envious Assassin and Explosive Light. That's the problem with that. So even though the perk combinations are kind of trash, it is the only strand rocket, and if there's strand surge on the activity, that's going to be a plus 25% damage boost, which is the exact equivalent to Explosive Light. So there might be some times when you want to use this rocket over the other rockets, believe it or not. Side note, we were in the middle of editing this video and we realized that this rocket is actually a precision frame. So unfortunately, this rocket is worse than all other rocket archetypes, making this thing even more trash. Why, Bungie? Why do you hate us? Why even bring a rocket this bad into the game? No one is going to be stoked for this unless it ships with a crazy bug and one of these perks doesn't work right. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you want to watch another video from this channel, click on the screen here and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.